What's the price of happiness? The young man wondered as he stared at the blank wall of his empty room. A room that was once filled with luxury now had cracks on the walls and an old suitcase lying in the corner. He couldn't believe it. Once admired by everyone, he had fallen to the depths of failure so quickly. It all started with ambition. The young man wasn't poor, but he wasn't rich either. He believed that having just a bit more would make him happy, and so he threw himself into an endless race, starting a company, investing in big projects, and constantly expanding. Even though he earned much more than before, he still didn't feel satisfied. Just a little more, and I'll finally feel at ease, he always thought. But that little more never came. In his pursuit of wealth, he began to lose the most important things. He had no time for his family or friends, and he even missed his sister's wedding because of a business meeting. His longtime girlfriend left him, leaving only a short message. "You love money more than you love me." But the young man didn't care. "I'm doing this for the future," he told himself. Then disaster struck. The biggest project he had invested everything into failed. His company went bankrupt, his house and car were repossessed, and the people who once praised him began to avoid him. Alone in his empty room, he had to face himself. A man who once dreamed of happiness but now felt completely hollow. Not knowing what else to do, he left the city and returned to his hometown, a place where he had once felt peaceful. One quiet evening, while wandering around the village, he saw an old woman sitting under a big tree. She held a small bowl and a bag of cakes in her hands. Despite her simple life, her face glowed with peace and joy, so different from his heavy heart. Drawn to her calmness, he approached. The old woman smiled warmly and offered him a cake. Surprised, he asked, "Ma'am, isn't life hard for you living like this?" The old woman nodded. "Of course it is, dear, but every day I feel I have enough. Enough to eat, enough to live, enough to smile. That's all I need to be happy." Her words struck him deeply. He opened up and shared his story, his ambitions, his losses, and his regrets. After listening patiently, the old woman gently replied, "Happiness doesn't come from how much you have, but from how much you feel is enough. If you let endless desire lead you, you'll never stop to enjoy what you already have." Those words were like a light breaking through the darkness in his heart. He sat under the tree for a long time, reflecting on everything he had overlooked. He remembered his mother's smile, weekends spent with friends, and the simple yet warm family meals he had taken for granted. Returning to the city, he started over. But this time, he didn't chase wealth endlessly. Instead, he focused on finding meaning in life. He opened a small shop, spent time with his family, and helped those in need. For the first time in years, he felt at peace. Strangely, true happiness found its way to him, not through grand achievements, but through appreciating the small, simple things. Unending desire is like a bottomless pit. It consumes everything you have and is never satisfied. When we are too focused on what we don't have, we often forget to value what we already do: family, friends, health, and the simple moments of life. Knowing what is enough doesn't mean giving up on dreams. It means realizing that life doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful. When you stop, appreciate, and cherish each moment, you'll see that happiness has always been around you, you just didn't notice it. So slow down. Feel the laughter of loved ones, the warmth of the morning sun, and the joy in an ordinary day. Don't let ambition blind your eyes and your heart, because sometimes knowing what is enough is the key to true happiness.